Let's now look at another artist from the French Baroque period. His name is Claude Lorrain. And notice in our period style, I just call this French Baroque, not classicism, because unlike Poussin, Lorrain doesn't have the same kind of grand manner ideas. However, he is still very much associated with the establishment of the fine arts in France during the Baroque period. When we look at Claude Lorrain's works, we're going to see a lot of big, beautiful, luminous landscapes. That was his what's the word? Specialty. And so here we have one of those. This is the landscape with cattle and peasants. Okay, so it's basically just telling you what you see. We have the peasants, or these shepherds, and they're chatting together while their cows are relaxing in the little dappled sunlight coming down through these beautiful, lush trees. The entire scene is very calm, content, peaceful. We're allowed to hang out in the grass and then let our eye wander down the hills and roll quietly into those misty mountains. Lorrain is similar to Poussin in that he's going to give you a balance of composition. So we have the balance of the trees that arc on this side and the trees that arc on this side. There's also a balance of dark shadows and bright sunlight. The light itself, this photo of this artwork does not do it justice. There are these minute gradations of color. The range of color that Claude Lorrain captures, like I said, it is luminous. It is alarming at how he is able to mimic the range of colors that we experience when we are outdoors. Lorrain preferred to have these kind of soft glows of sunrise and dusk, or here like that misty kind of golden hour coming through. He didn't like a lot of harsh shadows, even in the sun-dappled shade that the cows are, lounging in. It's not overwhelming and harsh, right? There's no hot, bright spots or scary, ominous, dark spots. So a Lorrain work of art is meant to give you this kind of peaceful, very natural experience of the beauty and majesty of the natural world. And he's known for it. I'm only showing you one of Lorrain's works, but I encourage you to Google search all of his works. This kind of golden light of his even becomes a term, a catchphrase, to wear Lorrain glasses is a fashion. Lorrain glasses, oh gosh, let me just pull one up for you. Hold on. Okay, here. So now if you search on Google Claude Lorrain glasses, you're going to get two different versions of the Claude Lorrain glasses, which were all the rage 100 years after Claude Lorrain. So in the 1700s. And his artworks have become like super popular because of these picturesque landscapes that he painted, right? And artists and tourists who were traveling around and looking at beautiful scenes, landscapes, mountains, lakes and rivers and hills, they wanted to have the same kind of Lorrain picturesque experience, or if they were an artist, they could then copy it down. So what you would do is you'd have this small pocket-sized mirror, right? Depending on the style you got, it might close or it might just stay open and be a burnished mirror. And what you would do is, like, there's a landscape right there. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. I'm going to look at it through the burnished mirror. And what it's going to do is it's going to crop it, frame it in that space. And then the burnishment is also going to soften the edges. Think of it like an Instagram filter, basically. And you would then be like, oh, goodness, this landscape that I'm not looking at, but I'm looking at through the mirror, it's so beautiful. It's just like a Claude Lorrain. artists would often prop these up, and that's what you're seeing here in this demo drawing. Artists would prop that up, and then they'd like rapidly copy that version, the Claude Lorraine version of the landscape beyond. So that's a common way of seeing and using a Lorraine glass here. This is another one. So it's got a slight kind of blur and maybe tint to the glass, and then it softens the scene itself. Where's another one I want to show you? Oh, another version of the Claude Lorraine glass is to have these colored glass lenses, and they're not for your camera because in the 1700s there weren't any cameras. Instead, you would have this little pocket size pack of these colored glass lenses, and then you're super wealthy, walking around on your tour of some, beautiful picturesque scene. Ugh, I love being in Venice. I would love it even more if I looked at it through a yellow glass. Oh, now it's even more golden. The light shines through this glass in such a way that it looks like a Claude Lorraine. So these glasses here are meant to give you like a little filter of blue or red or yellow, and it would then just kind of heighten your experience of the light in the space, like a Claude Lorraine. So keep an eye out for those in any kind of antique stores that you visit. I've even seen one of my mentors in grad school, my professors, she had an old pair of glasses, and they were in the kind of golden yellow, and the idea was you'd stick on these glasses and walk around with this yellow tint to experience the Claude Lorraine light. I know, it's ridiculous. But in terms of kind of pulling it back to our class, what it does help us understand, or I should say establish, is that the Claude Lorraine glasses, 100 years after Claude Lorraine paints these types of scenes, have now become a part of what culture and art is trying to accomplish, and what people are trying to echo or mimic or capture. France, because Claude Lorraine is living in France in the French Baroque period, France has become the touch point, the center of art and culture in Europe. And it's artists like Claude Lorraine that are helping to establish this during the French Baroque.